The City Field apple is rotten, and I can tell you why. But I'm going to leave it up to our next guest tonight, who you hear all the time on this program, or at least I should say you used to hear all the time. Josh Menza is back to talk some New York Mets and their epic 14 out of 16 loss last 16 game stretch that they've been a part of. It's just embarrassing, Menza. And we've talked about this all season. This is not the New York Mets that we came in anticipating in the beginning of the season. But first off, Mr. Menza, how are you this morning?
I'm all right this morning. I could be better. If the Mets were better, I would be better.
Well,
But
there's still a
I'm
chance to turn it
blessed and,
around.
and life is great. But the Mets, when they are terrible, it really affects my emotional status. So
I can attest to that. Your emotions go hand in hand with the Mets, as do many of our fans. And there's a lot of miserable people out there. First off, let's start with Juan Soto. Do you think that there's maybe a lack of leadership, something going on behind the scenes that could be better? What do you attribute this disaster to?
I I want to blame people, but it's like you think about it. Soto still's got 30 home runs. He's still got, almost 70, probably like 70 RBIs. He's batting 250. It's not terrible. I don't know how much more we would have or could have expected from him. But when you're getting that type of money, do I want you to maybe bat 280 or better? He's going to have 100 RBIs. He's going to hit 40 home runs. How much more can we really ask from the guy? Lindor is a fucking superstar. Oh, I'm sorry. Lindor is a superstar. Lindor is my favorite Met in a long time, since Mike Piazza. Like, I love that man. And Alonso, and Pete Alonso. Those two guys are the backbones, the cornerstones of this team. And Lindor just, I mean, I can't say anything. He's just such a superstar. And Alonso leads the league, or at least the National League, in RBIs. He's an RBI machine. And Nimmo, he's all right from time to time. Like, we have a lot of other, like, between those three, I truly believe that the Mets should be way better than what they are, even at the production from those three. And I understand our 1 to 4 with Nimmo, Lindor, Alonso, Soto, Nimmo. They were on a little bit of a stretch. I mean, but it's baseball. Yeah, I mean, of a slide. They were on in a slump as a lineup, but the last couple of games, last week or so, we've been hitting the ball. We go up 5-0, 6-0, still lose. We're up. I mean, we had an 11-9 game yesterday, so I can't blame the bats so much. Uh, in the sense of where in the last 14 out of 16, yes, there's been games that we haven't hit, or timely hitting has been terrible, but we are our middle relief pitching has been, atrocious. It's just it's like Groundhog's Day with the take a lead in the first couple of innings, blow it by the seventh and eighth, like trying to fight back, crawl back. By the end of it's just like last night. We blow a lead, then Lindor, comes in, hits a 2-run homer to give us the lead. Then Soto with a back-to-back to put us up by 2. The next inning, it's a tie ball game. Next thing you know, now we're down 11-6 and score another 3 runs to make it 11-9. It's like, how do you win if you're scoring less in the last week? We must have scored over 20 something runs, 30 runs maybe, and we've lost every game. Like, so there's not that you can't blame the bats. And last night I was really studying, and I'm saying to myself, I'm not jumping on any of this bandwagon about Soto. Do I want him to earn his paycheck? Absolutely. But the guy's going to hit 40 home runs. He's going to have 100 RBIs probably. He's going to bat 250, 260. And I really don't know. I can't put it on him. Lindor's a star. Alonso's a star. We just really get not much help from anybody else. Yeah, Nemo, McNeil, this and that. Like Marte is good here and there. But we're not getting timely hitting. We're not making big defensive plays, which is even scarier. Miscues on the cutoff man and things like that. It's like, I don't know, man.
Well,
But great teams just they handle, like last year, the way that the Mets handled the adversity when we beat down and late in. Like this year, we have not won one game where we have been down from the eighth inning or better. We haven't won a game, okay? Where last year that wasn't the case. Even though it was tough at the end of the year, and then Lindor hit the home run. Of course, Alonso hit the one against Milwaukee and all that. But we were on our slide last year,
They got to
and we
snap
had
out of it. What it comes down
and
to, though,
and
Jake,
they had a
there's a
way of
lot there to
bringing it back.
digest what you just said. You just summarized essentially the whole season for everyone out there listening, which is great. And yeah, at this point, hopefully the streak just comes to an end because it's got to bounce back. The pendulum's got to swing. And if there is going to be a time, it's right now in the month of August and into September where they can actually lock in that wild card spot. So let's hope they do it. Pete Alonso recently just surpassed Darryl Strawberry as the Mets
Yes,
all-time home run leader.
yes.
That's 253 home runs, which honestly, looking at it, when you look at the Yankees and some of these other teams, doesn't seem like that much, but a great accomplishment indeed. They made a pretty
Yeah, for
big
the
deal about
Mets,
it,
a
right?
great accomplishment for the Mets, and then also, the guy's been playing 6 years, bro. In 6 years, and this year isn't. I mean, this is his sixth season. The guy's got over 250 home runs. He's a shoe-in for 500 home runs. Shoe-in. He's in
Now,
the
why
500
is
home
it
run club.
now? I'm not sure if you were on the get rid of Pete Alonso bandwagon, but the
Absolutely not.
disrespect, the
No, no.
absolute disrespect that New York media and that even New York Mets fans had towards Pete Alonso
I
during his
hated them for
contract
that.
year,
I hated
just
them for that.
despicable.
I
Now,
hated
do you
them for
think he's
that.
going to stay? He's signed for a 2-year, $54 million deal, but he can opt out after this season. Do you think that he's going to go for more money and potentially leave the Mets, where he's
Yeah,
maybe
I
a
mean,
little bit
look, I
treated a
just,
little more?
you can't predict that in this day and age if somebody's actually going to take the more money. There's a good friend of mine who the guy Mooch, okay, Mooch Grasso. He was cursing him at the beginning of the year, and I said to him, and this was literally within the first 2 weeks of the season. I said to him, why don't you look up just in the first baseman power rankings? And I guarantee you, Pete Alonso at the start of the year is at least in the top five of the power rankings. He was like, "There's no way, there's no way." We look it up; he's like number four, right? Now, fast forward a month after that, 6 weeks into the season, Pete Alonso is the best player in baseball in the first 6 weeks of the season. Okay, him and Aaron Judge were the two best players in baseball in the first 6 weeks of the season. It was insane. And at that point, I'm looking at my boy Mooch like, were you crazy with the Alonso thing? Like, if you don't see Pete Alonso's worth, like. I don't know again. I don't know what much more you can do as a team. Alonso, Lindor, Soto, what they've given us this year, you can't ask for any more. Is some of it padded? Maybe it's padded. Maybe, a lot of these stats are untimely, not timely. That means a lot too in baseball, and I understand that. But on
Well, the balls
paper,
were juiced. One year, the balls were juiced up, but still, to have over 250 home runs in 6 years in this day and age, especially, huge accomplishment. So we do. Even me as a Yankee fan have to take my hat off, which is not even on for Pete Alonso. Plus, I would like to see him eventually, maybe in pinstripes. It would be nice to see Alonso as our first baseman, where he's appreciated for all those home runs because he hits a lot of those home runs over that right field fence in City Field. He pushes that ball out that way. It might be nice to see him out there,
yeah,
but
he is powerful. He can go each way. Like, he can go the opposite field. I love that about him. I don't know. I mean, even a couple weeks ago, he made a huge defensive play to save the game to win. Like,
great
um,
defender.
yeah, I just love Pete Alonso. I love Lindor and Alonso, and those are my two favorites. But I would hate to see Alonso go. I am not. I've never have been not one day in my life on the bandwagon of let's get rid of Pete. Mainly because he's Italian and he's in New
Yeah,
York. Okay, and I need
that's
I
right.
need I need to keep the Italian at first base in New York. Okay.
So back to the pitching because we do have to wrap up this segment. But you mentioned that there's not a strong bullpen. There's not any really scary starters that are part of the rotation. Clay Holmes is pitching kind of like we expected him to, at least us Yankees fans. And Manaea has not been that consistent since his return from injury. He's got nearly an 8 ERA over his last 3 starts.
No,
So at this point, have you lost hope in the Mets making it to the World Series as we thought they
yes,
might?
no. I mean, the Mets. They do not. They don't. We don't have the staff. Even if Sanga was just lights out every single time out, we really don't have that other. And then of course he got hurt for a portion of the season, and he's not really himself since he's been back. I don't like the pitching. Pitching wins championships. We just don't have the pitching. I firmly believe that if we did, and then even if we got the wild card. which I hate the fact that we're even fighting for a wild card because really, for the most part of the season, it was like we were a shoo-in for first place. Then all of a sudden, 14 out of 16 we lose, and we're 6 games out of first place, and now a game back of the wild card. That's the type of stuff that keeps me in bed for a couple of days. Like that shit makes me depressed. So
Yeah, it's
it
brutal.
is what it is. But thank you for having me on.
Yes, and everybody that is listening know that Menza also runs DCM, and some of your favorite rappers and old school hip hop artists work with him hand in hand. So go check out We Are DCM to see what he does outside of the sports world, where he's helping produce the show. Menza, one last prediction here. Who do you think is going to win the World Series as of today, August 16th, 2025?
I don't know, man. It's a tough one, but I really can't tell you because honestly, the real way I feel about the whole league is that the whole entire league is not that great. Like if you look at even at the Mets record, which now right now as it stands is much worse. But like let's say just take it 2 weeks ago before this 14 out of 16 slide, we for the best record in baseball at that time was only 3 games out. And there was like 6 or 7 teams that all had pretty much about a 3 or 4 game difference between the best record in the league. So I can't make the prediction. If you want to have me on next week, maybe I'll study it a little bit more. But I just think that the whole league is leveled out. And I
I
and
will
I
say this. I
yeah.
love that not just you, but many viewers of Major League Baseball completely forget the behemoth that is sitting out in Los Angeles and how they will not be stopped. How they put together maybe one of the most all-time great teams, at least that I've ever seen with my own 2 eyes. But they're hurt. They're taking a little bit of time to relax so that we can forget and MLB can sell their tickets and forget the fact that the evil empire has returned. And this time it's in Los Angeles. Don't go nowhere. We'll be back soon, folks.